In our previous video, we heard about the richest countries in Asia, and we decided to focus on those with a very unique story of how they became rich and what lessons we can take out of it. For a special reason, we chose to begin with South Korea. Why? Because lots of traffic to our channel comes from you guys, and we are very grateful for that. So, South Korea, this is for you. We are curious to see how you guys did it to become one of the top 10 richest countries in Asia. I am Anthony Diego, and come along with me to explore this unique financial history of this country. At its creation in 1948, South Korea ranked as one of the world's poorest states. In 1960, it remained so with a per capita income about the same as Haiti. South Korea was predominantly an agricultural society, but underwent industrialization during the Japanese colonial rule from 1910 to 1945. The Japanese created a professional civil service and an efficient development-oriented state that worked closely with private business and banks to achieve economic targets. But this was more in benefit of Japan than for Korea. The country was challenged by the repatriation of the large population of resident Japanese, a loss of many skilled workers, professionals, and teachers, a streaming from refugees from the north, the loss of Japan as its main market for its agricultural exports, and a turbulent political situation in the country. These problems were compounded by the highly destructive Korean War from 1950 to 1953. South Korea's economic miracle began under the military government of General Park Chung-hee, who came to power in a coup in May 1961. The new military regime now did not have clear ideas about what to do with the economy, but what they had was a determination to end the country's poverty. This was partly a matter of national pride and a desire to free the nation from its mendicant, that means a beggar status, as an economic ward of the United States. General Park Chung questioned whether South Korea could preserve its self-respect as a sovereign nation, independent, free, and democratic, while being so dependent on the Americans. Besides the desire to free the country from its economic dependence on America, the new military leaders were motivated by the competition with a rapidly industrializing North Korea. Look what the military leaders did. Initially, after detaining and fining 51 prominent leaders, including Yi Pyong-chul, the country's richest, the military regime began working closely with them to harness their entrepreneurial skills to the national effort at economic development. In this way, the military government began its partnership with the country's entrepreneurial elite. Several steps were taken to direct the state toward economic growth, and those were 1. The development of 5-year economic plans, 2. The redirection of the economy from import substitution to export-oriented industrial development. 3. State control over credit. They nationalized all commercial banks and reorganized the banking system to give control over credit. This provided low-interest loans to businesses according to the needs of economic plans. Most historians regard the first 5-year development plan to be the point of economic takeoff. From 1962 to 1966, there was an economic growth of averaging 8.9%, while the goal was 7.1%. That means they exceeded this goal and they were on their path to rapid industrialization. After the first 5 years, a second 5-year plan followed, which gave greater emphasis to attracting direct foreign investment and improving the basic infrastructure. What they also did was to focus on acquiring technical skills. They promoted technical education by expanding many schools and 2-year technical colleges. The country also made progress in professionalizing the state bureaucracy. Attracted by good pay and benefits, many of the university graduates in and out of the country entered the ranks of bureaucracy, resulting in highly competent officials to guide and promote economic and social development. The Koreans learned much from Japan about what a non-Western country could do to successfully modernize and industrialize. As one Korean put it, the policy of the country's business community was, do what the Japanese have done, but do it cheaper and faster. Something to take with us in doing business. In 1996, South Korea became a member of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), a 30-member group of developed nations. But it still faced many economic problems, and those were South Koreans still worked among the longest hours of workers among the OECD nations, and the quality of life had not reached the levels of developed countries. With one of the lowest birth rates and longest lived population, it also faced an aging population, a shrinking workforce, and an inadequate social safety net. By 2017, the Republic of Korea had a global reputation of technological innovation. Its GDP per capita was slightly above the EU average, and it ranked among the highest in the world in health standards and educational attainment. The country began importing immigrants, but it was difficult for such a highly homogeneous society to accept the challenges of multiculturalism. And there were concerns about air and water pollution and other environmental costs of its economic development. These were mostly the problems of a mature, prosperous, technologically advanced country, while a half century ago, they were one of the poorest states in Asia. And this is how South Korea did become one of the wealthiest countries in their continent. The reason why I find this story unique, because they came from the destruction of a war and they faced so many challenges, but it was determination that they didn't want to stay in that position. And the most impressive thing for me, what they did, they started to work together. They reached a hand out to entrepreneurs and they worked toward goals. And not only did they just work, it went very fast. I also must say that not because a country is the richest in the world, that means that there is no poverty in the country. But they are not on the same level where they were. We can learn a lot out of this amazing history of South Korea and implement it in our life individually to achieve whatever we set our mind to. I hope you got value out of this video. In the next one, we will talk about another Asian country that is also successful but in their own way. They did it different, but because their circumstances were also different. Very interesting. That's why I'm saying to you, don't mind giving us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, and if I missed something, just let me know in the comments. I can also learn out of that. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in another video. Peace.